Hi everybody, welcome to the episode. Today's guest is the other half of the delivery space. And for those of you who follow the delivery space, you'll know that Sharon Williams is a superstar. She is solid, she is robust, she is so great in the way that she carries herself and just the way that she is. She is a PMO lead, she works as a transformational lead, she works in PE and MA, which she will talk about, and she's a mum. So let's go over to Sharon Williams. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, Mandy. Thank you for the kind words.
I've been practicing. Put it that way. I've been practicing. So, Sharon, I was looking at your, your title and your, these words.
Yes.
MA is mergers and acquisitions.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And PMO is like project management office.
That's right.
But what about PE? Is it physical education?
Not physical education, private equity.
Private equity,
yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Wow. So, Sharon, one of the things that I ask all of my guests is about their early career.
Mm-hmm.
How did it all start? Who were your early mentors?
Mm-hmm.
Were there any difficult lessons you learned along the way?
Mm-hmm.
So just understanding and learning about you in that way of your journey would be great.
Yeah, of course.
So share away.
So going back then, originally I set off at uni doing an accounting degree because everybody had told me that was a good thing to do, decent pay, go for it. So I started off doing an accounting degree and it wasn't for me, Mandy.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Somebody in my family, they did an accountancy degree and they said it was so boring.
Yeah. It just wasn't for me. So I quickly transitioned to doing an industrial economics degree instead.
Oh, wow.
Which I really enjoyed. So did that, completed that. And then I thought, okay, I'll go into investment banking because some of my friends were applying to, investment banks. And I thought, no problem, got the grades, it'll be easy. And it's not so easy. So that was my first learning about networks and contacts to get, open doors for you in life. So after I completed my degree, I ended up doing a graduate management program for a transport company. And actually, even though I thought this isn't an investment bank, but they invited me to come in, take a look, talk to the team, talk to the director. Mum came with me and she said, I think you should do this. It'll be really good for you, like good learning. And it gave me exposure to look at every aspect of the business. So I got to work in operations, I got to work with the engineers, in finance, in HR. So it gave me a really solid foundation of what it took to run that business from all different levels. And I got to work on some really cool projects and programs. And that was my first opportunity at seeing lean in action, was in that company.
So this was not an investment bank.
No.
But it was
a transport
company, so transportation.
Yes.
Which we know is huge. So transportation and learning about that whole kind of supply chain.
Mm-hmm.
And what sort of lessons did that kind of experience give you as gifts to take with you wherever else you went? Or and what kind of decisions did you make as a result of that experience?
That's a really good question. I think it gave me a lot of lessons in resilience. So I was about 21 when I started there. It was heavily male dominated. I wasn't local to the area. This was in London. I'm from Birmingham. So a bit out of my comfort zone, if you like. And I got thrown in at the deep end where they'd said, okay, you've got to learn this business. And I mean, really learn it. So you need to experience what it's like as a customer. So I had to learn how to drive a bus. So that was my early, experience driving a bus. And I thought, this isn't what I imagined after uni. Like, I'm driving a bus. But luckily I had good people around me and they said, you need to do this and it will give you like good experience and you understand, truly how the business runs. So I did it. So that was a real lesson in resilience, in doing hard things and just giving it your all and experiencing things. So not just the theory, but this was frontline work.
Yeah.
So that was one major lesson for me.
And actually, when we do get opportunities like that, I think they're quite, it's like a lucrative opportunity because you're being entrusted with something that's really valuable and important. And then the things that you pick up and learn are invaluable.
Absolutely.
You know, because you're only going to be imagining things, but if you've actually gone in and experienced it, you kind of feel that pulse.
Exactly. And it opens up other opportunities because I did that. One of the MDs then asked me to let him know what my experience was like as a young woman. Because, you know, the directors and the exec, they sit at the top. And he said, we want to encourage more women into this business. So he invited me to report back to him on what my experience was like. So I recorded, you know, my journey. I wrote a paper, fed back to him, and they did take on board some of my feedback.
Wow.
So it does open opportunity. I got to meet some amazing people on the bus. I had lovely mentors. So looking back, it really was an enriching experience, even though it's something I never imagined that I would ever be doing.
Yeah.
And then another experience, I mentioned lean, that it was my first introduction to lean.
So if we talk about lean, and some viewers may not know what lean means, could you give like a very small example or synopsis of what exactly is lean?
Yeah.
What do we mean?
So in the context of the garage and the transport environment, they were trying to eliminate waste. So they set off doing this project using lean principles to see how they could make things run more efficiently. So some of the things that I saw in the garage, it was looking at flow. So how quickly they could turn around the buses, get them in for maintenance and repairs and get them back out on the road. It was looking at how they would optimise the space on the garage floor. So instead of having some tools all the way over there, so the engineer would have to, you know, walk really far, it was looking at, okay, what do we need a bit closer over here? How much stock do we actually need to hold? And there were principles of just in time. It was having more visuals in the garage. And Mandy, it was the cleanest garage I've seen in my life. I'll never forget it. But as a young 21-year-old, this was actually amazing to me because I'd heard of these things in textbooks, but I got to see it. It was wonderful.
That is so profound. You know, similar to you, I worked at British Airways.
Yeah.
And I used to walk past the hangar where Concorde was, and I'd feel so proud of myself. And honestly, the engineering that goes into some of these huge machines, and I just couldn't believe it. And the way the teams operated there was very much like cross-functional teams. One, you know, on one project, you may be the project manager. On another project, I may be the project manager.
Yeah.
They kind of gave these roles, the ones that were kind of like transferable. You know, you could have your transferable skills to people so that people could upskill. And I don't know if they did it in all of the company, but they certainly did it in the area that I was in.
Amazing.
Which, the whole kind of lean waste principle is quite fascinating because even if we try to apply it to our home, I mean, the simple principle of the cost effectiveness, where keep stock to a minimum. That's impressive, isn't it?
It is.
Because the amount of times I buy things and it's in my cupboard.
Same.
My daughter comes home, Mum, this says out of date in 1998. I'm like, oh yeah, but it's in a tin.
It'll be fine.
You open it up and it's just so manky. So that's really great that you got this experience early on. How else has it helped you along your way of say, decision making or, your own development in your career path? Where else has it taken you?
So it's taken me then so I did eventually go to work in an investment bank after that experience. But before I go there, I just want to touch on the mentors, because you did ask me about mentors.
Yes, please.
So I had a lot of mentors. I was quite lucky that I had like formal mentors and informal mentors. So some of the more formal ones, I had one of the managing directors, some of the other exec in the business, and we'd meet quarterly, set goals, talk about long-term vision and that kind of thing. But I also had many informal mentors dotted around the organisation. And that helped me so much, even to this day, to realise the power of mentorship, of community, of having people encourage you, give you guidance and advice. And I think, like I said, that's something that I hold with me now, which has stuck with me.
So with this, you mention it's really important to you. I want to ask you, what would you say is the secret sauce for having such great mentors? And it's interesting to hear you say about formal and informal. Mm-hmm. Can you kind of elaborate?
Yeah, of course. So the formal ones were the ones that the company kind of put together for us as part of the programme and said, this is what you'll have access to. But the informal ones were ones that I kind of said, could you like mentor, because I saw something in that person, or they had experiences or skill sets that I thought I could learn from. So young me didn't wait to ask for permission. You just went out and got it and asked people if they could do it.
That's good, isn't it? And also giving you the kind of side to how something is formal, structured, and then informal.
Yeah.
So tell me, what do you like about the formal and the informal?
So the informal was a bit more measured. Everything would be documented. It was quite rigid in terms of when we would meet, these are the takeaways, what are the actions going to be? Then we'd have formal follow-up evaluation, that type of thing.
Okay.
Whereas the informal was kind of at a frequency that suited me. It could be like a chat on the phone. It was a lot more flexible. And I think having the two together, that was perfect for me as a young person, new industry, learning everything. It really helped me go through, like quite tough experiences. It got me through.
Brilliant. So you've got to this investment bank.
Yes.
And what happens there?
Yeah. So having that experience in the transport company, they did offer me a role there, but I decided from that I wanted to go more into like the project world. And that's when I had a position working in a portfolio office in an investment bank. So I thought, why not? So went into that position, and that allowed me to see how in a mature organisation they are strategising, they're prioritising, they're making decisions at that higher level. So that gave me a really good grounding to see what good looks like. So I was quite privileged to get that opportunity.
So I'm going to go there. So what does good look like?
So from that perspective, good looked like having transparency so that data could flow to the right people and they knew the position of things to be able to make informed decisions. It looked like having controls in place, which everybody, was aware of, what we're doing, why we're doing it and when we're doing it, and having structure and governance around things. Because I've also seen the other end where you see things that feel quite chaotic. No structure, decision making might feel chaotic, or decisions made and then quickly reversed. No control around it. So I've got to see like both ends of the spectrum and everything in between. But it gave me that solid foundation, I think, to start off my career in PMO.
Very nice. PMO is very important. Can we talk about what exactly is PMO for people in case they are
Sure.
wondering?
So PMO can stand for Project Management Office. It could be Program Management Office or Portfolio Management Office. And it's really helping put the controls, the governance, the support frameworks in place to enable delivery to happen smoother, to enable there to be assurance in place, the right controls and support systems in place so that value can be delivered. That's what I'd say succinctly. And there are various flavours to this. So like I said, some could be more assurance focused. A lot of the work that I do is more delivery focused, where I'll partner with the programme director. So depending on, where you work and what type of PMO it is, it will have different flavours.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I'm going to take a little break there with you.
Yeah.
And we're going to come back to the career path. I'm going to ask you just silly questions. These are just to kind of relax you more. Everybody does it.
Go for it.
So, what are you terrible at but secretly enjoy?
Oh. What am I terrible at but secretly enjoy? I'm not good at like reading a map or directions. If somebody gives me directions on where to go, where to find a place, I'm not the best. But when I get there, I'm like, yeah, I did it.
Well done. I am exactly like you. My kids will testify to me not knowing my left and my right. This is years ago. My kids were really young. They're in the car. And I think the navigation was go left. Mm-hmm. And I kept going right.
Oh, no.
And I did it 2 or 3 times. All of them were saying, Mum, why do you keep going right?
It's easily done, though.
I think there's definitely, it's becoming more and more in our kind of like sphere of knowledge that people who have neurodivergent type of mind and neurotypical, they can get their left and right. They're not great at navigation. They're more creative people. There's a lot going on in terms of expressing this kind of different way that we are with our brain.
Agree.
So
yeah, agree.
So I'm the same as you. So what else has happened? So you've gone into this investment bank. And I remember meeting you during the pandemic. And I say meeting you, but it was not really meeting you. I just was in awe of you and Nisha because you girls created the delivery space.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, of course.
I'm sort of guiding you, taking you, but
of course.
Share a bit about how did you two meet?
Good question. So Nisha and I met during the pandemic. Both of us were in this amazing voluntary group called Frontline. And that group was aimed at supporting people who, through a really difficult time, whether that be through skills that were aimed at getting them back to work or just supporting them in any way that we could. So I had a conversation with Nisha that said I'd always wanted to be a podcaster. Nisha thought it was a great idea and said, let's do it. And the rest is history.
Wow. And you've hit 100.
Yes.
100 podcast series. I mean, that must have taken a lot of, I don't know, just focus, discipline.
Yeah.
And it's not easy.
It's not easy. It definitely took a lot of focus, a lot of discipline, a lot of grit and determination. But I think being paired with someone like Nisha has really helped, support through that process. We've both got a natural curiosity, a willingness to learn. And I say to Nisha, each session's like a mini coaching session for me. So each guest is so different. We've got business founders, entrepreneurs. It might be someone talking about their career learnings or failures. Because we get so much out of each episode, it gives you that willingness and that drive to keep going.
Yeah, definitely. It's so lovely to hear you mention that you take something away. That is quite a genius way of being. How have you always been like that in terms of, because it's like actually you're noticing something. I mean, there's definitely this curiosity that happens when people are inquisitive.
Yeah.
But what about this taking something away? That's quite profound actually, Sharon.
I think I've always been fascinated by people. So I did A-level psychology, but I've always been curious about people and learning and watching and just observing people's behaviours and just being inquisitive. So I like to ask questions. I like to build relationships with people, and even just through like the smallest of conversations, I find that there's often something I can learn about somebody. So I would say yes, from quite a young age I've been like that, just like an inquisitive person.
So not from like a particular kind of way that your family have been, but just like yourself, you've just been like that.
I'd say it's probably just myself, just part of my personality. When I was very young, I used to work in some of my extended family businesses and support them in their business. I had a little Saturday job there, and then I used to like watch them and ask my aunt and uncle questions. And then other jobs that I've done since, I just like knowing people's journey, why they do what they do, how they got there. So I'm a naturally nosy person.
No, I really love what you're saying, Sharon, because like when I was younger, my mum, she used to get me in the kitchen and she would say, just watch me. I just want you to watch me. Yeah. And then I'd help her.
Yeah.
And this sort of thing, when we're, you know, if we kind of bring it back into work, whenever we've got something that we're trying to learn and grow in competency, I think you've got to get involved.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that, and I'm definitely a fan of get stuck in if you can. I think qualifications are amazing. You know, we've done a lot ourselves, haven't we? And I'll always be an advocate of that. But if you get the chance to get hands-on, practical experience, frontline, shop floor, I'd say you learn so much that way. Yeah. There's certain nuances that you will learn, or things that you will pick up about people that no textbook can ever teach you.
So solid. We're going to get back into your current situation, but just while we're here, how do you observe and also do it, which is to let go so that somebody who's trying to develop does it? When you say trying to develop, does it? What do you? So, for example, like when my mum used to get me into the kitchen, and I'd observe, and then she'd allow me to, you know, do chopping up. And
got you.
So, how do we get the, you know, if we've got people who are in their early career journey, and how do we give them the rope to, like, it's now they've got to do it, and how do you kind of feel about that as well? Do you easily let it go, and are you able to do that? Are you able to guide somebody through? Yeah, definitely. Because I think there always has to be a point where you let somebody else try, because that's how I've learned. Somebody has trusted me to try something and fail many times. And I think being a mom as well helps with that process, doesn't it? Yeah. We've spoken about this. You have to know that learning and letting go is a part of somebody's growth and part of your own growth. Oh, gosh, yeah. And things might not work, but that's fine. So many learnings come through the failures, obviously with guardrails, you know, and safety there. But I think, seeing people try and fail and learn and improve and grow is just amazing. It's one of the most beautiful things to watch. Yeah, no, I'm with you there. It can be really tricky if somebody's always been doing a certain job and somebody else comes along. It's possible that somebody who's been always doing it, they could find it really difficult to let go, but also difficult to teach somebody. Because they're skills, aren't they? So the skill of teaching, instructing, and then the skill of doing we forget how, I mean, we're learning this with AI, you know, prompting AI. Yes. How actually that's so skillful to prompt with accuracy. Yeah. But no, so sorry. No, it's a good one. Going off. So what do you do now? So now I run a small consultancy firm, and we tend to specialise with private equity-backed organisations. They might be getting ready to go through an acquisition or a merger or getting ready to exit, and they've got
high value work that needs doing. So it might be a ERP transformation, it might be a divestment, a carve out. There's some type of big works that needs organising and doing. So that's the kind of work that I do now. And I love it.
Wow. Sounds really specialised as well, actually. Yeah. What are the sort of more challenging parts of the work, would you say?
Always dealing with people. So I always say that at the heart of what I do in working within PMO, it's all about people and relationships. And you just touched on it earlier with change and how difficult that can be for people, because ultimately the work that we're doing leads to some kind of change, some kind of significant change to drive efficiency and add value in some way. So it does impact a lot of people's day to day often. That can be tricky, because I think innately as humans, we like comfort. We all like our comfort zones, don't we? And people having to change, that's always difficult, I would say.
What do you think is it about change that people find difficult?
I think it might be the unknown. What's going to happen next? I don't know. I've not done this before. This is all new. And for some people, new might be exciting, but for a lot of people, it's scary. You touched on AI. For a lot of people, it's scary, and we don't know where it's going to go and how it's going to impact us and change all of our jobs, change all of our lives. So I think it's that unknown.
How do you think, how do you help, or how can we, people help with situations of change and also kind of removing that fear, removing that, because it's, fear begets fear, energy begets energy.
Yeah.
How can we, what can we do to...
So I think the first thing we can do is listen to people and understand what it is that they are scared or afraid of. It might be something that they may not need to fear, and you might be able to put people's minds at rest, or at least explain clearly what's happening so people have a level of understanding. Sometimes I see that people are fearful or scared because they haven't had sufficient communication, so they just don't know anything. And that then leads people's minds to race, doesn't it, and assume the worst. So I think providing some kind of information, communicating with people definitely helps. Also reminding people that they can lean into their skill sets. We've all got different strengths, haven't we?
Yeah.
And I still believe that even if things change, which they're constantly changing, you can do other things with those strengths that you have.
Yeah, I mean, the whole kind of dealing with change, it's going to cause disruption.
Yeah.
It's going to bring this level of challenge, and people are going to be fearful, especially if people are in a situation where they live hand to mouth. Yeah. They are just a paycheck away from going bankrupt or, losing their home or whatever. Yeah. So one thing you said earlier was about community. How can we build more community? How can we make things be less disruptive? And how do you, in your kind of space, when you go in, help people and help clients? How do you kind of do that level of reassurance?
So one of the first things that I always do is try and build those relationships with people, because everything hinges on building relationships, doesn't it? So that you understand people, so that you really hear people, not just bulldozing in with your own thoughts and ideas. Because like you said, when we're talking about people's lives and livelihood, and many people do live hand to mouth, and it's understanding that those are real issues and concerns for people, and people need to be able to have trust and safety to confide and share some of their concerns and worries. And one of the things, like I always do, is through the delivery space, is we've created our own community of people and our own networks, and having a community of people that you can reach out to and share insights with and ask for advice, that's powerful. And I always encourage people in roles, whatever they do, is you don't just have to stay stuck in that company in terms of your community. Look outside as well, because that really helps. And it opens you up to opportunity.
Yeah. So maybe take a leap of faith. And also during the furlough period, during that pandemic, you must have seen lots of things happening and lots of people worrying and being in difficult situations.
Yeah, that was a really tough time, wasn't it, for everybody? And that's why the furlough group, shout out Gary Wills who created it, that just gave comfort to so many people, because it was everybody was positive, everyone was coming together with good intention, there was value alignment to support people. So I think whatever your interests are, you can also find those groups outside of work. And that's a massive help and support system. And you can find friendships, mentors, coaches, all of that as well.
So lovely just hearing you say all of this. It really is. Can you talk about, I don't know, a recent big-ish decision that you've made? Talk us through how you made that decision.
Yeah. So, one decision I made recently, so I got an offer for a role, but it was a good offer, but there was no value alignment. So I decided to walk away from that. Because I think one of the things as I've got older in life is realising the importance of having that value alignment and something that sits right with me, where I can add value, but for the right purpose, for the right cause. So it didn't fit in with my values in terms of the sector that company was in. So I decided that wasn't for me.
Wow.
And stepped away from it.
Yeah, so you made a purposeful choice.
Yes.
Based on what you knew about the sector.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. Because it is difficult for people to understand value and, what exactly do you mean by value?
So for me, I'm talking about kind of like my beliefs, the things I hold in high regard, all of that stuff. That's what I'm thinking of when I'm thinking about like my values. And like I said, that like the older you get, you realise, not everything aligns to that. And sometimes that friction isn't worth it. So it's knowing, when's the right time to kind of step away or go in a different direction.
Yeah. So value is about something that interests you and something that builds on that for you. And if it doesn't, then actually that's not going to be good.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good. Yeah, thank you for that, Sharon. So is there anything you would change about PMO that people may know, or is there any kind of...
Probably one thing I would change, but this doesn't just apply to PMO, it's probably across all industries, is the misconception that because we've got AI, we don't need humans in any industry at all. So whilst I definitely acknowledge that it probably will change a lot of roles, I don't think where we are right now as of today, it means that we're getting rid of all humans everywhere, in every sector, every role. I think we're on a journey and it has its place and it's amazing, but I don't think we're there yet.
I totally agree with you on that one, Sharon. I think, organisations, companies, countries are going to make a lot of mistakes. I think a lot of mistakes are going to be made and some very difficult lessons will be learnt. But I think success will come as long as, like you say, that kind of human in the loop is not forgotten. People bring so much value. People bring something to the table. A machine is a machine. I mean, at the end of the day, if something makes your life easier, then it's got to be okay, and people have got to make that choice. It's like, do I wash my hands by clothes or do I put them in a washing machine? Do I get in my car to go to the shops or do I walk? And similarly, AI is going to benefit some organisations, but then the job displacement needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
What problems are we solving, and then what problems are we creating?
Agree. Yeah.
So, and we've got, you've definitely got your young one to think about, but there are lots of people out there with young ones.
Yes.
And I want to get grandkids.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey kids, come on.
Yeah. So there's a responsibility, isn't there, to think about the future that we're creating for everybody.
Absolutely. Could not agree with you more there. So I want to ask you some wisdom stuff. Define success for yourself. What does success?
Oh, that's a big question. I think success for me means having the ability to choose and make informed choices that align to me. And by that, I mean, it might mean turning down certain things or choosing and prioritising certain things over something else. But having choice is what success looks like for me.
It sounds like you quite like freedom.
Yeah. I do. Who doesn't, right?
So you're kind of like, you like structure, but you like that freedom as well.
Absolutely, because there are times when we might need to prioritise something more than something else. And I think having flexibility and freedom to choose and be able to do that is what success looks like for me at the moment.
I love that. That's wonderful. Sharon, how do you maintain balance for yourself? Because you've got a little one now.
Yeah.
And you've got businesses.
Yes.
How do you maintain?
It's really difficult. And I can't say I've figured it out or that things are in perfect balance, because that would be untrue. It's very messy at times having a little one. But sometimes I have to prioritise certain things over other things. So it might be that I have to prioritise work or something a bit more than something else. And there's always a sacrifice in doing that. But I think I just try and constantly reevaluate and see what needs a bit more of my time in the season, and know that things are always changing and fluctuating. How do you balance it? Because you've got a lot going on yourself, and you've got 3 older children. How did you do it?
That's very interesting. And it's funny because I had this conversation with my younger daughter the other day.
Yeah.
And I know she wouldn't mind me saying, she's got ADHD and is going through her journey. I do it by not feeling afraid of mess.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, I've often said, my kitchen's a mess, or I don't do the washing, or, and it's not that I don't do it. It's just that I make a decision. I make an informal decision to say, you know what? We've had dinner. The dishes need to be put away. Mm-hmm. I'll do it in the morning. I'm not going to empty the dishwasher now and stack it up. I'll do it in the morning. Yeah. So it's about being fearless in making decisions of prioritization, because we cannot do it all. We
can't.
We cannot eat all of our, dinner for a month in one sitting. So, we are human beings. Yeah. We're going to have to make decisions about, actually, that needs to be done now. That can wait. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I think for me, the decisions that I've made have been about that value piece that you talked about, what is important, and if you can see longevity in it. Yeah. So, of course, it's important to have clean dishes, and not live it in squalor. But it's important to also recognise I'm really tired. I need to just go and put my head down.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think I've always done it like that, which is to prioritise and probably, looking at energy. And I said this to my daughter. I said, sometimes, because she does so much sometimes, I just think, why is she doing all of this? And so I explained to her, just leave stuff. Yeah. Just do the bit that you can do. Yeah. Leave something. You don't have to do all of it. And actually, there's thought around spreading yourself thin. Isn't there?
Yeah, yeah. But that's really good advice that you've given. It's something I need to work on and get better at, actually, because if I see a dirty dish in the kitchen, I'm like, I've got to clean it up or get it in the dishwasher. But you don't have to. You don't have to do it right there and then. Like you said, you can do it in the morning.
And I think this makes for an interesting conversation around where you've got products and delivery and documentation has to be done. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Nothing in the way we work says don't do documentation. Of course we've got to do it.
Yeah.
But it's about knowing that actually we'll do it towards the end, or
Yes.
we'll do a little bit as we go along. It's like working in that way. I think it's really important to have a method that can be applied. And you and I are similar because we look at our life, and I've read a lot of your LinkedIn posts, you know, and I think, yeah, she's, you look at things and you can see how that actually, you can take that into your working environment, how you can apply it. And we don't ever stop thinking.
No.
We've got this kind of way that we are.
Yeah.
And so, Sharon, we've almost come to an end, but I want to grab something from you in terms of a message. So this is, again, the wisdom piece.
Okay.
You know, so what would your billboard say if it was a message to professionals out there in the future? What would that billboard message be?
It would probably be something around delivery. I'm going to say during delivery, it will reveal your character when under pressure. And I'm going to say that because the work that we do, it's hard, it's complex, it's pressurised, but you really see people's character when they're under pressure in these, you know, during these times, and how some people kind of lean into almost being more human, more supportive, and others the opposite. It really is amplified, I would say, in those environments.
Brilliant billboard message.
Thank you.
Sharon, it's been such a delight having you
thank
here
you.
And just meeting you in person.
I know, it's been lovely.
It's been wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, you're welcome.
Leaving your little one coming all this way.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I've loved every minute.
Absolute blessing.
Thank you.
I hope you all enjoyed the show. It's been wonderful to have Sharon here in the physical and not virtual. Please may I ask you to do the honours, subscribe, share and enjoy. Thank you.